Hello, welcome to the Tuesday live stream, my friends. Sorry for the confusion last week. I do believe some of you were here waiting for the live stream to start, and it didn't start. So, a couple of things. One is I mixed up the date in the launch letter, so sorry for that. And the other side of that was that somehow some live stream had been scheduled. So it looks like I got to dive into this. And now I'm in a new office space and I can set up my live streams. I just moved in today. So I haven't had a chance to beef up this space and make it look super cool, but I'm going to be putting something on the wall, going to be doing some soundproofing, and then I'm going to play with the setup so that we can have a little bit more fun and excitement during these live streams. And you can actually see the draws when they're happening. So that'll be pretty awesome. But for those of you who were waiting for the live stream last week, I'm sorry, but here it is. It's happening this week. So welcome. As you join in, as always, please say hello. And if you're catching the replay, then you can still say hello. And of course, all comments that are put on the day a video is released do count towards our book launcher swag. So I'm going to dive right in because of the mix up last week. I don't know how many people are going to be joining today, so I'm not going to wait. Let's just dive in. So today's topic is the 10 things authors need to stop doing in order to create success for their book. So listen carefully, and as we go ahead, we will be looking for your input because I only made a note of 9. So we're going to be looking for you to share one of yours to also fill in the gap. So hello, Poetry from the Heart, and hello, Angela. Thank you for being here. I don't know if you were caught in the mix-up last week, Poetry from the Heart, but I'm so glad that you know the regular live streams are happening every other Tuesday. Although we're going to be skipping the next Tuesday live stream because I will be on my way to Austin, Texas for FinCon. So anybody who is attending FinCon, I would love to see you. Come on by the booth, or if you're doing pro networking, set up a meeting time. I've got space. So you were there, but it was fun. So I guess you guys had a good time in the chat wondering where I was. I've got some things I'm going to fix with YouTube and set up. So that's my project. That's going to be a project I do in October now that I'm finally in a new office space. So 10 things authors need to stop doing in order to succeed. Number 1, which will be no surprise to those of you who are regular YouTube viewers, it is to stop letting, I call them your monsters in your closet, but let's be real, it's your ego, to stop letting your ego get in the way of the impact that you can have. So those monsters, for those of you who maybe don't know, those monsters are fear of success, fear of failure, imposter syndrome, and of course, my personal big monster, the fear of judgment. And I also have that imposter syndrome thing going on too. But the fear of judgment has been my big monster. And so those monsters are really your ego getting in the way. And this rears its ugly head in so many forms for authors that it is number 1 on this list. And I think it's one that everybody kind of needs to pay attention to. So it is the fact that your book is, this is the challenge, right? A lot of people tell you that you need to write a book and your story is so incredible, you need to write a book. And that makes you feel like you have to share your story and that the book is about you. And it is, but it's not for you, it's for your reader. And the more you can focus on that reader, the more impact you can have, and the smaller the monsters get. They never quite go away. But when you're choosing your cover, it's not the one that your friends like. It's the one that will stand out for your reader. When you're choosing the title, same thing. It is not the one that your wife or your husband says was the best one. It is the one that is going to appeal to the readers and to the search engines when your reader is typing in certain things to find your book. When you put those monsters, I usually have to bring the monsters along for a ride. I can't put them back in the closet. They just join me for the party. But you make them quieter by focusing on your reader and ignoring those monsters. And when you do that, you'll more likely to set a book up for success. You'll get your book done. You'll do the work you need to do to market it because you're focused on the impact that you can have. Hey, Jason, welcome to the live stream today. It's great to have you. If you're just joining in, do say hello. We always have participation prizes. And we're talking about the 10 things authors need to stop doing in order to succeed. And number 1, was really to put your ego aside and focus on the impact you're going to have with your book. That was number one. Number two is a good one, I think. We run into this. So at book launchers, we work with nonfiction authors. They're subject matter experts. They are often writing a book to grow their business, grow their brand, expand their message. And they also are often very successful and very well educated. Not always, but in some cases. Uh, and they want to sound smart to their friends. And they write books that are more complicated than really they should be. And so, number two is to write for your reader level, not for your industry, not for your colleagues. You're not getting graded by a professor that you have to write that's going to, decide if you're smart or not. So, if you're not familiar with it, I highly recommend in Word using their little tool that allows you to see the Flesh Kincaid grade level score. And it's equivalent to the US grade levels of education. And it shows, the grade level that is required. So, the grade level of education that's required to understand the text that is inside of your manuscript. Nonfiction books geared towards an average reader really should be no higher than grade 8 level, which is about a 13 to 14-year-old. And on the other side, you don't want it to be simpler than a grade 6 level. So I would say the vast majority of nonfiction books really should be written for that grade 6 to grade 8 level. And in fact, a lot of people think that writing simply makes them sound less intelligent, but there's a lot of data and research and information out there that actually shows it is more difficult to write in a simplistic way that conveys that you understand your material so well that you can explain it to anyone, right? So that's what shows true expertise, is being able to take a complex subject and distill it down into something that a grade eighter could understand. So that's your goal. Now, there's exceptions to this, although I would argue otherwise still. But before I start an argument that hasn't started, or before I start arguing in an argument that hasn't started yet, the other side of this is if you are writing, you're a PhD and you're writing this book for other PhDs, you may find yourself writing at a grade 9 or grade 10 level. And that makes sense, right? It makes sense to write at a higher level if all of the readers are going to be at that level as well. But I would still argue the other side of this because we want, and that's because we're all about hashtag no boring books. I want people to want to read your book, not have to, not feel like they have to get through it in order to get to some sort of a result or something like that. So in Word, if you don't know this, when you do the spelling and grammars check, you can also choose to display information about the reading level of the document, including a readability score according to the Flesh Kincaid grade level. So you can go into, I think it's file. I'm just opening up Word here just so I tell you the right thing. But it's file, I think it's file properties, and then you select proofing or something like that. If you just Google Word, because different versions of Word are going to do this differently too, but Google Word and then Flesh Kincaid grade level, you'll be able to see that. And I'll put the typing or the spelling of this into the chat so that you can see. Hello, author CTO Retega from Seattle. Great to have you here. Hello, Melissa from Wyoming. Fantastic to have you here as well. All right. So I just dropped I just dropped the Flesh Kincaid spelling in there so that you guys know what I'm talking about if you need to Google it to find out how to calculate that for your manuscript. Still talking about the 10 things authors need to stop doing. I'm going to cover number 3, and then we're going to do some prizes because it's not a live stream if we're not doing prizes. So number 3, stop fearing failure. Now, you may or may not realize that you're fearing failure, but many people make decisions that show clearly they're afraid of failing. One of those is coming in and really not being open to the process. With book launchers, we start people most of the time with a story expert to really dig into, the 3 whys that matter, which is, the 3 W's actually. What's in it for me, being the reader? Why should I care about this, which is the outcome, the hook of the book, and why should I read what you've written? So that's the author definition. And that's really what we're doing when you work with the story expert, is defining all that and building a book that gets to that outcome and sells that hook of the book and the hook of you, the author. And so when people come into us there, the more open they are to just having an impact and creating a specific outcome for a reader and doing it in whatever way is kind of coming through to create that hook, they're the ones that tend to enjoy the process more and often get better results too. The ones that come in pretty much afraid of failure, make decisions and they hold, they kind of really grind, dig their feet in and often grind the process to a halt at various stages. So I saw something, Pat Flynn posted this from one of his kids, I think, teachers, and they said that failure should be redefined as first attempt in learning. And I just thought that was fantastic. And I think if more authors come in with that mindset, they will experience more success and more enjoyment from the process. And in that vein, I got an email from one of our authors this morning, and I don't have his permission to share this, so I'm going to tell you what he said without telling you who he is. But he just said, I want to take a moment to tell you how grateful I am for the team and the opportunity to go through this process with your company. Writing this book has changed my life and has helped me become a better leader in the process. And I'm so excited to work on this project each week, and I look forward to meeting with your team every time. So that was an email, and he's coming into this with the mindset of openness and wanting to learn from the process versus being afraid of failing in the process. So it's really, really a different experience when you do that. And I think you create more success as well. All right, let's start with the participation prize. So here's where we find out who's been lurking and not talking. So make sure you have said hello. Oh, Caleb. I can definitely say Caleb. Thank you. Okay, so make sure you say hello because I'm going to get Angela to count out. Today is the 7th. So she's going to go, let's see, we're going to go 7 from the bottom. So 7 from where Caleb said. His name is Caleb. And we'll go ahead and choose today's prize. And I'm also going to pop on over to choose our YouTube commenter prize. So every Tuesday and Friday, we have a new video coming out. Again, this live stream, there was a bit of a mix-up, my fault, last week. My fault and a tech glitch combined together to make last week's live stream a bit of a glitch. So it didn't happen. We do live streams every other Tuesday, but that counts for commenting. And so every Tuesday and Friday, we have a new video. When you comment the day a video is released, you get entered to win our hashtag No Boring Books mug, our Oh So Soft journal, and also a copy, if you don't have it, of my book, Self-Publish and Succeed. So today's first winner is, and it's in the random name picker, and oh, this is a new winner. Vegans in the Wild over 50. I'm pretty sure that you have not won yet. So when you're watching this, please let Angela know. So you can email Angela at angela@booklaunchers.com and let her know if you want the mug, the journal, or a copy of my book. And of course, let her know your mailing address as well, so she knows where to send your prize. Congratulations and thank you for commenting on my videos. Okay, cool. So, and from our other prize, we have Melissa Cook as our participation prize so far. We have one more participation prize today. So those of you just tuning in thinking you've missed out on the prizes, you haven't. There's still more. M. Lee, hello, welcome from Southern California. Fantastic. Okay, so Melissa, same thing. Which of the 3 prizes? I think you've won at least once before. So let us know what you want. Just shoot Angela an email at angela@booklaunchers.com with your mailing address and whatever prize you want to take home. So thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. All right, so carrying on with our 10 things that authors need to stop doing in order to succeed, we're at number 4. Number 4. This is another one that I've shared a lot, and I think it's so good, it's worth repeating over and over again. Do not read what you've written when you sit down to write again next time. Just start writing. So what's that mean? That means you're not editing the work that you did the last time you were writing when you're writing your book. You are going to set up a prompt for yourself so that when you sit down to write next time, you sit down and you write. That's it. What's that look like? You start off the next sentence for your paragraph and put some bullet points of what you're going to talk about next. So when you sit down, you don't need to reread anything or read anything or edit anything. You just start writing. This is going to be an enormous time saver because you're going to edit your book when you're done anyways. So why not just get everything out of your head onto a page and then go through the entire thing from start to finish? Get your book drafted and move it through the process as quickly and efficiently as you can. That's, I think, the best writing tip I can ever give. Number 5, stop asking your friends and family their opinion on things that are really, really important for your reader, your ideal reader. I'm talking about cover, title, or even the content of your book. The only exceptions to this is if your friends or family are in your ideal reader category. They're in that ideal reader. Yeah, that's right, category, or they're book publishing professionals. Those are the only two times when I think you should ask them. Generally speaking, you can ask them, but I wouldn't make hard and fast decisions based on what they're saying. You really have to look at your competition. How are they positioning their books? What are their book titles? What are the keywords for your book title? What's really going to stand out to your ideal reader? If you already have a business and your ideal reader is in your audience of clients, then I would be talking to them. I would be using your emails if you have an email newsletter to put things in the subject line to see what people are clicking on. I would even be putting cover polls out to your client base if they're your ideal reader. That's the information you want to rely on a lot more than your friends and family. We've seen a lot of less than great decisions come as a result of saying, "Oh, my family, my cousin, my coffee barista said I should do this or didn't like this," and that's really not the market research that you want to apply to your book publishing experience. Let's see what's going on in the comments. Let's see. Mark Wilder, hey, hello, first timer, welcome. And Bill, thank you for coming. So it's so great to have all of you here. Like I said at the start, we had a bit of a mishap last week. So I'm thrilled to have so many of you join me today, which is the properly scheduled day. But yeah, anyways, we won't go into that. But I'm so excited to have all of you here. So thank you so much for that. And we're talking about the 10 things authors need to stop doing in order to create success. And we're currently on number 6. Number 6 is one that's kind of funny in that it's not specifically about books. And I think this is really a general success tip for everyone. But it's stop surrounding yourself with people who aren't achieving the kind of things you want to achieve. I could put this in many ways. They don't have the mindset, they're not supportive. Or you could put it the other way, which is start surrounding yourself with people who have already achieved the things that you want to achieve. But since this is a list of things you have to stop doing, and that didn't quite fit, but I would have preferred to label that in a more positive way. But what I mean by this is if you're traveling you spend 90% of your time or even higher with people who aren't writing books, have never written a book, think writing a book is crazy, or they think money, having an impact or earning money is, not a good thing. Whatever that mindset is, if that's who you're hanging around with, it's going to be very tough for you to succeed at whatever your endeavor is. So I highly recommend whenever you want to do something that's fairly big, it's out of your comfort zone, it's making you nervous, you're not sure if you can do it. You really need to find a group of people who have already done it or who are at the very least, doing it right now. And so that you can surround yourself with them. And for me, if I look back on my entire life, whether it was writing books or starting companies, I found that every time I really wanted to level up and achieve something that was big and scary, and there was a part of me that didn't really know or even believe that I could do it, I had to find a new group of people or peers to associate with. And usually this meant paying money. But what I found is when you kind of first join that group, you walk in the room and you feel like, or in this case, probably a virtual room, but you kind of feel like you almost don't belong. Like, you're out of your element. That's great. That's what you want. Because what's happened every time I have done that is I have managed to achieve the very thing I wasn't sure that I could achieve. And even book launchers is a really good example of this. Angela will know this because we joined a business mastermind kind of group, a business coaching group, where one of the very first things you do is everybody talks about how much revenue the the other people or the other companies in the room, you stand up and you tell them how many employees you have and what's your revenue. And I was one of the smallest numbers at the time. I think I only had 3 employees, and we were under half a million in annual revenue. And I was listening to all these people with 20 plus employees, and 3 and 7 million and $10 million a year companies. And I was going, oh, like, I don't belong here. But 3 years later, it's very much my room. I have a quite a sizable team, and our revenues are much larger than they were then. So it's really, really important, I think, to find the right people to be around, to feel a little uncomfortable, like you don't belong, but to absorb that and to learn from those people in that room and push yourself, and also just get reassurance that your dream isn't that crazy. Other people are doing it or have done it, and you can follow some of their lessons and learned, and just by being around them, I find that it's easier to achieve bigger things. Number 7 is to stop looking for or expecting quick wins. And this goes especially for people who have money to buy them, because in book publishing, there really aren't a lot of things that are like quick wins, even if you have money. You really have to work to do most of the pieces. And I've seen this with some people who just say, look, like I want to give you money and you just make a book. And it's like, well, it doesn't work. It doesn't work like that. You still have to get the information out of your head. And the hardest part is coming up with that concept and sharing your expertise and your perspective. Uh, and then on the marketing side, a lot of people just want to pay money and get bestseller status and get this and get that. And you can, but it's gimmicks and there's trade offs. So legitimate success comes from consistent effort, driving to have an impact, and being willing to fail so that you can learn along the way and try new things and build momentum and ride the waves of up and down. There really aren't quick wins, and when you see quick wins, for example, if you see somebody's book skyrocket to number one, uh, often it's because they've spent 5, 10 years building a massive platform before that book ever came out. So the book might seem like a quick win, but it was a quick win 10 years in the making. So it really takes consistent effort. And if you don't have a platform and you're talking in a new subject, your book is kind of that piece that's going to launch you as the expert, you really can't expect a quick win. You really have to plan to be putting in effort on a regular basis in order to create success and learn and try new things, and keep those monsters at bay, all the lessons that we've talked about today. All right, I'm going to do another prize to shake things up a little bit. And the other participation prize is coming up, because I don't have a number 10. I want to see what you guys think is one of the things authors should stop doing. So you guys can start writing that down now. And I'm going to head back over to my little random name picker where I've put everybody who has commented on a Tuesday or Friday when a YouTube video has come out in the last 2 weeks, and see who else is a winner. Dun, dun, dun. Today's second winner is Heyshare, or Heyshar, Heyshar. So congratulations. I think that's 2 people who have not won before today, I think. So yeah, congratulations. And you email Angela, let us know if you want the mug, the journal, or a copy of my book, and let her know your mailing address as well. Congratulations, and thank you for commenting on the day a video was released. All right. Kit, you become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Yeah, exactly. Hello from California. Hey, Dee, great to have you here. And Christopher Madish. Hey, that's fantastic. I'm enjoying each step, page, and paragraph. That's wonderful to hear. Thanks for stopping in for our live stream today. Okay, so we've got 3 more to cover, and then I've already told you what the final participation prize is. I'm looking for the 10th thing authors need to stop doing, because I only have a couple left. Albert, welcome. Okay, now, number 7 was stop looking for quick wins or expecting quick wins. Number 8 is stop setting goals you can't actually control. Switch the focus to things that you can control. Again, this is kind of a life tip, but it applies to authors. So one of the things that you can't control is if you become a bestseller. You absolutely can't control that. There's a lot of things you can do that will lead to that success or that possibility of success, But ultimately, you can't control whether you become a bestseller because there's so many factors that are out of your control. One of them being actually making people buy your book. That's out of your control. But the other is you can't control what other books come out on the day, the week, the month of your book launch. And if you're competing with some blockbuster book, then you might have a challenge. And you can look ahead at the publishing schedules and see what's coming up. But ultimately, they move them, they change them, and you could be surprised and still be up against like the equivalent of a Harry Potter series. So you really can't control that. So set the goals for things you can control. You can control how many people you contact to get a review. You can control how many places you pitch yourself to get podcasts. You can control how many speaking opportunities you submit for. You can control how many times you post on social media. You can control how many times you go live on social media. You can control how many influencers you reach out to. Those are all things that you have control over. Even setting a goal for a certain review number is challenging because you can't control whether people actually do the reviews. So it is a goal. Like, we were just talking at our company how we want to get self-published in 60 to 100 reviews, and we're planning a reviewer party to give you guys all kinds of fun swag as a thank you. But ultimately, we can't control whether somebody posts a review or not. So I focus more on asking people to write the reviews, and we're testing different sites to get more reviews. Those are all things that we can control. But try to set goals for things you can control, and break down an ultimate goal that you have, a desired outcome, for example. Break that down into the things you can control to try to achieve that. It's a better feeling for the whole process, and I think it sets you up for a greater chance of success. You're less likely to get discouraged when you can control the outcome on a process. Number 9, stop procrastinating. This can take the shape of, research that you don't really need to do. This can take the shape of rereading what you've written before. It can take the shape of just cleaning your house or doing anything but doing the work that you need to do, whether that work is writing your book, asking for reviews, looking for new places to market your book, pitching yourself for speaking engagements, whatever it is, just stop procrastinating, just do it. You can waste a lot of time not doing the things that you really need to do just because they're hard, you fear rejection, you're struggling with it for some reason. And if you're really struggling, get support. You could hire book launchers, of course, that would be my choice. But get support in the form of a writers group, accountability partner, something like that, and find a way to not let yourself procrastinate, and you'll find yourself achieving more success. All right, so what's number 10? Let's see what you guys have got. Let's see over here. Okay, we've got a few good ones here. Authors should stop worrying 10 steps ahead. Oh, Caleb, that's such a good one. Enjoy step by step of the process and fall in love with the process more than the desire for the results. I don't even know what other ones are there, but you're absolutely a winner. That is such a good one. There's so many people. Oh, this is fantastic. I love it because there's so many people who are worried about proofreading their book or about the distribution for their book, and they haven't even written it yet. I mean, let's take it step by step. I do say worry about the ultimate. Who's that ideal reader? What's the outcome? How are you going to be marketing this book, or what's your goal for it? And then build your entire book with that in mind. But that's very different than knowing the intricate details of when you're going to post on social media and all those little finer things. Oh, I love it. Okay, you're definitely a winner. Email Angela at angela@booklaunchers.com and let her know if you want a copy of my book, our mug, or the journal. That was a good one. Thank you. Sydney, great. So good you could join us. I have problems writing, then reading a how to write blog. I think that's probably supposed to be blog. How to write a blob. How to write blog, book, video, and then deciding I was doing it wrong. Yeah, that's a good one too. And that's kind of where I said you don't want to take too many people's advice. You really want to just focus on that reader, focus on what you have to do. If you need to get a process or some help along the way, do so. If you need process, get a copy of my book. I mean, I think it's $16 or cheaper if you get it on Kindle, and the whole process is right here. So that will give you a step-by-step proven process. We've had more than 300 authors work with book launchers now, as well as my own experience writing books. And are many writing coaches and writers and experts have contributed as well, who have experience outside of book launchers. So lots of really, really great material there. But yes, it's fear of failure, fear of success, imposter syndrome, all those monsters, they come out as soon as you read some other approach. Then it can make you doubt your own approach. So let's see. Procrastination is a real issue. Yes, it is. Mindful Eats says authors should realize that there are people out there who desperately need your book. Yes, it really, really is about focusing on that person that you're going to have an impact on. And I often tell people, if you don't write the book, what's going to happen to that person? How are they going to get helped? And what are they already doing now that's not working? And how will they ever find your solution? So I highly recommend you focus on that reader, because it kind of gives you a butt kick. Euphema, trying to become the thing that my monsters are afraid of is difficult. Yes, I know it's a challenge. That's why you focus on the reader as much as you possibly can. Surround yourself with people who are achieving this, because when those doubts or when the monsters come in, those people can often be the very example you need to see to know that it's possible, to see what the outcomes can be when you achieve great things. I think that's why it's so important to make sure that you're surrounding yourself with the right people as well. Albert says, I think some people out there try to sell an idea that a book can be written in a few to 6 months. Stop believing them. I mean, 6 months is feasible. The 30-day thing, I mean, yeah, it's possible. And I've seen a few people do it. But, we're all about writing a great book. And the rare person who can write a book really fast and do it well is typically somebody who has been teaching their stuff for a long time. Because the part of writing a book that's actually slow is the thinking, and it's the figuring out, how are you going to explain this so that it has an impact? What stories are you going to tell? How do you tell a great story? That stuff takes a lot of time. And so I find that the people who can write fast, I haven't seen anybody do a 30-day book and have it be great, but the people who can write a book in 90 days or 6 months are typically people who are already really close to their material and they're getting support. A lot of our clients will write a book in 6 months, but they've got a writing coach alongside them, and they've also got the story expert they work with in the beginning to get clarity around what their book is about. My first book took me, I think, 18 months to write. Self-published and Succeed took me, I started it and then I stopped it for about 16 months. Once I started it again, I think it took me 4 months to write, amongst a very busy schedule. So, but it's also material that I talk about all the time. I took some of the transcripts from YouTube videos and used those. So I wasn't staring at a blank page. So it is possible. But if you're brand new to this, you're writing on something you haven't done a lot of speaking on or teaching, yeah, it's going to take you a while. You've got to do some hard thinking work. So that's a good one. I think that's another you could stop. So Melissa, and they think you should just release it when you're done writing and editing. It's hard for them to understand why it's still not available and why I'm still busy working on it. Oh my goodness. That is another one. Stop thinking the process is quick. A lot of people don't understand that when your book is now drafted, there's still about 6 months more of work to do on it. To get it to the book launch. And that work for most people is like 3 or 4 months of editing. And then there's cover design, there's layout, there's launch prep, and then there's a 6 to 8 week period of pre-launch where you want to be setting your book up to sell. So there is a lot. So that's a good one too. There's so many good ones here. You guys are awesome. I love it. Hey, Lady B, Ashley, great to have you here. Nasir, I've written 3 books in 8 months. It's definitely possible. I did it alone. Yeah, that's great. You probably had experience. You knew your topic well. It's the people who don't know their topic as well as you think. If you've talked about the subject, you've already got all your information on hand. It's stuff that you know well. You absolutely can write books fast. And then if you don't have a busy business, you've got more time on your hands. You don't have kids. Because those are big factors. I mean, I have full work days, and I have a 4-year-old now. When I was writing the book, he was 3. And that's very time intensive. Like from the moment I was having to get up at 5 in the morning because he wakes up at 6. So I actually get up at 4:45 and I would write from 5 to 6. And then some days he'd get up at 5:30 Rare days he would sleep till 6:30 or 7, so I get a little bit more time. But during the workday, I didn't have time, and then as soon as I'm done work, I'm with him again. So it is a real challenge, and that's often the bigger thing. If you've got open schedule, you know your material, yeah, you can hammer out books quite quickly. If you're not procrastinating, you're not rereading what you've written, you've got a clear plan. So yeah, absolutely. Everybody's got a different kind of different things they're dealing with. Typically, most people are going to take 6 months to a year to write their first book. After that, you might go faster, and if you know your material, you might go faster as well. Um, okay, let's see. I'm just sorry. I'm just reading all the comments here, seeing what I want to talk about next. Denisha Pratt says, "I have two kids, and there are so many distractions. Thank you for your transparency." Yeah, it's real. I mean, and it's one of those things too, where before I was a parent, I didn't fully understand. I mean, I got that the kids were time intensive. I didn't really truly understand the challenge. I was often telling, in a different business I had, I was often telling them, well, "Why don't you just get up earlier?" Like, well, now I've been taught why you don't just get up earlier. Like, it's not that easy, is it? But anyways, it's you can do it. That is the reality of this. There is a way to get this done, but it's not always going to be as easy as some people want you to believe. Okay, cool. So I think that's all of our things. Now, you guys had some good ones. So I want to pick one more prize. I want to do one more participation prize because so many of you are here now all the way. So I think let's do, Angela, if you can just put the last, I don't know, since these comments, take all of them except for Caleb, which was author CTO Ortega, which is why I'm calling him Caleb. So he won, but then take everybody else that shared a number 10, the 10th thing to stop doing. Can you just take them and do a random draw of one, and we'll choose one more winner because you guys gave me so many good ones. I have a hard time choosing what would be our other winner for today. And while I've got you here, we also are looking for more video topics. I'm doing a full series over the next 3 months on marketing because guess what the next book's going to be? It's going to be all about book launches and book marketing, because that book was Self-Publish and Succeed is really about writing the book and then publishing it. We touched on marketing a little bit, but there's so much to go into around book marketing. So I'm writing an entirely separate book. So I'm going to be doing a whole bunch of videos because my process is I create the video, I take this transcript, I put it down into the format of a book, and then I fill in all the gaps. And that becomes the book. So over the next 3 months, I'm going to be doing a ton of videos on marketing. So outside of the marketing realm, if there's a topic you want me to cover, please let me know because I don't want to only be putting out book marketing videos in the next 3 to 4 months, because this channel is all about writing, publishing, and promoting a nonfiction book. So let me know if you've got video ideas. And I'm really just talking until Angela gets the prize. So Nasir says, "I didn't do it the right way. I didn't spend enough time promoting it, like you said, and I had to go through more rounds of edit because of that." Yeah, I mean, if you do a book without help, you often will find yourself needing more editing, but that's okay. I mean, I think it's great to just get the material out of your head and into a first draft as fast as you can. I think if you were in person, I'd still give you a great big high five because that's awesome. Thomas, first time I caught you live. Hey, great to have you here. Thanks for tuning in. Okay. Oh, hey, Shar, you won. I don't know if you were here in time to see that you were the winner, but for the YouTube commenter, you were one of today's winners. So you can email Angela at booklaunchers.com and let her know if you want the mug, the journal, a copy of my book. And of course, you need to tell her your mailing address so she knows where to send it. Mr. Keating, I wrote a 10-book anthology in 3 weeks. Oh my gosh, 2 weeks straight, spent face down in the shower, brainstorming, and 3 hours vigorously typing. That's incredible. And Nasir said, "I spent 10 hours a day writing." Writing and not working. I don't want to know where you work. Let's see. Self-publishing those. Yeah. So Euphema said, "I've been writing a lot of short stories lately. Publishing those is a different world." Yeah. What's your take on email marketing for book sales? I mean, I think the number one way to sell books is to an email newsletter list. And then the number two way is to get somebody who has your readers in their audience and get them to send an email to that audience to promote your book. That's how my first book went to number one on Amazon, selling thousands and thousands of copies. it was only through email marketing. I had a newsletter list at the time of about 10,000 people. It was a different time. My open rates were around 60%, which is extremely high for email newsletters, but that was 2013. And then I had colleagues and friends in the real estate space. My first book was a real estate investing book. And those colleagues and friends sent emails to their lists, and that's how my book went, top the charts. And that was solely from email marketing, nothing else. I expanded later and did PR, like traditional media. And I didn't run Amazon ads on that book. I was a baby self-publisher. There's so many things I didn't know. I started running Amazon ads a year later or so. But yeah, so email newsletter, it's huge. It's a challenge to consistently add new opt-ins, and it's a full dedication on the part of an author to grow their email list. Scully, so good to see you here. And Euphema, congratulations. You're our final winner of the day. Thank you so much for your contributions today. Email Angela and let her know what you would like for your prize. I bet most of the topics I can think of, you can pop a link to one of your videos. Well, it's true. That's why I'm kind of running out of topics at the moment. So I'm looking for ideas. So no bad ideas. And sometimes what I am finding is somebody asks me a question and I go and I find the video and I go, it's 80% what I would say, but I've learned more since I put that video out. So I will release a 2021 or a 2022 version of that video. So all ideas are welcome. If you're watching the replay, please post them in the comment. Okay. How many copies of self-published in 60? I don't actually know. My team just told me today that I had 63 or 64 reviews, and I haven't looked since I broke the 50 review mark. So that's the beautiful thing about not writing a book for book sales, because it's not that I don't want the book to sell. I do, but that's not what I'm driving towards. I'm really driving towards getting the book out to help people, to get the right people to come work with us at book launchers, and to have a resource that I can just turn, I can say to people, hey, you've got questions, like this book has all the information that you need. And then I've been able to strike some really cool partnerships. Like next year, my book will be given out with one of the book awards. So everybody who submits for this book award will get a copy of my book. Next month, my book is going to be inside of this Hamptons, this really cool company called Bedside Reading, that does these promotional packages for or not all, but some of the Hamptons hotels. And there's a film festival. And so my book will be on iPads in the hotel room for people to read, as well as in some of the gift bags. So that's why I did it, is to kind of explore promotional opportunities to see what works for our clients, to help anybody who has questions about this that may or may not hire book launchers. And so as a result, I'm not actually fussed about the sales. And it's not selling like tens of thousands of copies either. It's a very niche kind of book, and I'm not marketing it hard. I'm really just using it as a tool. So I'm thrilled with how it's doing and with the doors it's opening. But yeah, it's not crushing any sales records. Let's see, a couple more comments, then we're going to wrap up. Let's see. I published my first book back in 1999, just before the digital boom hit. Hey, that's great. Congratulations. Oh, Angela just said it's 64 reviews. See, I didn't even know. Okay, so got some good book ideas or good video ideas, how to get in the newspaper in bigger cities when you have a press release. Press releases won't get you into the newspapers, just FYI. Takes a pitch, but I'll do a video on that for you. What about how to present your book on Amazon? It's not as easy as you think. The text bundles up. Yes, absolutely. That's a great one. Thank you. Oh, these are good. I love it. Great comments. So I'm going to come back after this live stream is over and read your comments to pull some of the video ideas. And of course, if you're watching after, you can post them as well. Thank you so much for joining me this week. There will not be a live stream in 2 weeks. I will be on my way to Austin, Texas for FinCon. We will be meeting back here. I'm just pulling up my calendar so I can tell you the exact date. We will meet back here on October 5th. So it'll be a month from now. Can't wait to see you there again. There'll be lots of prizes that day because we'll have 4 weeks of YouTube comments to make up for. Can't wait to see you then. Thank you so much for tuning in today, you guys. Bye.